Hey everyone, this is the Geeky Panda here on the Geeky Panda blog yet again. This time I am joined by Time Enforcer Anubis again from She's Lost Control.net. Anubis, welcome.
Howdy.
Now, here we're going to be talking about the differences between big conventions and small conventions, whether they be both anime, gaming, etc., etc. So, this is going to be interesting.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so when you're planning out for an anime convention, what usually comes into mind?
Usually you're talking about the basic stuff, how you're gonna get there, where you're gonna stay. But a lot of the stuff you're also thinking about is what kind of guests do they have? What's the schedule like? What panels are they running? What games are they running?
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, but the key question before everything starts is what con should I attend?
Exactly.
That is the key point. Now, small anime conventions, while not as big, every con has to start somewhere, right?
Oh yeah.
And all the big conventions out there, they used to be the small cons that only had like what 1,000 people attend.
Maybe not even that much.
Yeah, like for instance, Kineticon. Let's
Yeah. Kineticon's come a long way.
It came a very long way ever since they first originally started, I think in a college, and then they worked their way up. Now they're at a convention center.
Yep.
So, why should we attend small anime conventions, Anubis?
Well, really, it's if you're new to conventions, a small anime convention is the perfect place to go because you're gonna get the convention experience, but it's not gonna be overwhelming. For more experienced people, you go for that sense of community. It's because it's so small, you see the same people walking around all on each day. You talk to the same people. You go to the same panels. It's you really get that sense of community with the people who are at the con with you and the people you're hanging out with.
Yeah, that's that. To me, it's like supporting your community. Like usually these cons are like very local, right?
Oh yeah.
And it's like without you guys, this convention will be, gone.
Yeah.
Like, like for example, I know there's been conventions out there that start up but failed, and to me, I always wish for diversity in anime conventions. Like, I don't want just to see big cons; I want to see small cons. Why? The community aspect of it. That, and it's also cheaper to attend.
Yeah, a lot of the times it's sometimes infinitely cheaper to
Yeah,
attend a small con instead of a big con.
yeah. Like, Kineticon, how much did you spend on hotel?
I think it was something like maybe like 150 a night for 2 nights.
No, you don't want to know, AB. You don't want to know Anime Boss. Anime Boss was like 300 to 400 a night. So, yeah. So that, and sometimes even then, small conventions, they have some pretty awesome guests come along.
Oh yeah, like Tiffany Grant was at the first AAC I was at, and for those who don't know, that she's the one who voiced Asuka in Evangelion, who also happens to be my favorite anime character ever.
Yeah, and at AAC, wasn't Troy Baker there as well?
I believe so.
Yeah, and Troy Baker,
Uh,
everyone knows him now.
Kyle Herbert, the
Yeah,
voice of, believe it's Kamina.
yeah. And then Kineticon, you had Teams 4 Star there.
Yep, Team Four Star. You had John St. John, the voice of Duke Nukem, and Big the Cat.
Yeah, it's like all these things. It's like don't ignore small conventions. Like they still might even have some good quality things. Like there's always going to be cosplayers there. There's always going to be panels and events and raves. There's
Oh
always
yeah.
something to do. But it's just like so community wise. Like people talk on the forums, people talk on the Facebook, etc., etc.
Really, like small conventions are basically, as far as content goes, as far as the type of content you're going to get, they're really the same as big conventions, just on a smaller scale. You still have the rave, you still have the panels, you still have the screening rooms. There might be less of them, but you still have that entire thing. You might not have some industry panels; those might not go to the smaller conventions. But a lot of times you'll have guests. You still have the dealer's room. You still have the artist alley. You still have everything.
Yeah, it's just with this, it's a smaller dose to. It's like it's not overwhelming. It's easier to consume, and it's like, instead of one day to figure out what's going on, it's like we just spent 4 hours. I know what to do. Let's make the most of it for our weekend.
Exactly.
So
And for panelists, small conventions are perfect test beds for your
oh
panels.
yes, it's like the make or break thing because if you,
Yeah, I use AAC to test both of the panels I run now.
I wish I could do
They're
that. For me.
fantastic.
I wish I could do that, but it's like for me, I'm trial under fire. Like when I host something at a con, I better do it good. So luckily, I escaped unscathed, but I know some of the panels I hosted in the past. They could obviously be better in some aspects, but it's like I'm like boots on the like I drop feet first in hell while while you and News you had like the fucking you had like you like nice easy calm get
Yeah,
up and right.
start low, start people are getting to know you.
Yeah.
Come back to the convention yearly. People get to know you. People get to know you. People, and sometimes if you're a person who goes to both, people from the smaller conventions will recognize you at the bigger conventions because that's what happened to me back when back at Anime Boston once. After I had given a panel at AAC, people recognized me from there.
Yeah, it's such a nice feeling to have that sense of community.
It really is.
Yeah. Now, let's talk about bigger cons, the big ones. Obviously, one of the key things about this is the size and scale of this, and just the amount of resources, time, and effort you have to put into this.
Yeah.
Like, this is crazy.
More expensive hotels, more expensive badges on average, more expensive transportation. Basically, you're spending a lot more money, but it pays off
Yeah,
in a big way.
a lot more money and time to put into, but yeah, it
Yeah.
can pay off a lot. Like, the industry panels are awesome to go to because you get to see like what they're doing next. What are they planning to bring to the states?
Exactly.
What are they planning
You
on
get
working
to,
on?
Get to ask questions.
Yeah, and obviously they have like everything's like they have more panels, more people go there, so you get to see all these different kinds of cosplayers. Bigger events, the dealer's room is so
Dealer's
big.
room.
There's so much variety to choose from. So, why would you think people will go to the big cons?
It's really that's where you really get the con experience. You when you go into a if you're talking about going to a con, you're talking about going to something like Anime Boston or Otakon or Anime Expo, something big like that. If you're talking about going to a con, like a capital C con.
Yeah. But what would you recommend for those who are willing to make the jump? Like, would you recommend for those who a con newbie go at first glance, or because of course the veterans, they already know what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you feel like you're up to it, do it. I mean, you really if you have everything squared away and you can get your transportation, you can get your badge, you can get where you're gonna stay, go for it. You literally have nothing to lose.
Yeah. It's a good feeling to have, that's for sure. The I love big conventions. I love it because there's so much to do.
Yeah.
Like you just have so much offered on the table. It's amazing. Like the cosplayers that go there is just awesome. Like you meet so many different cosplayers, even some more well-known ones in the community. Like,
Oh yeah.
Like for instance, Pizza on Wheels goes to AB.
Yep.
And it's just like to see all these cosplays. It's like holy crap, But, and the panels, like the panels you've hosted, the other panels people have hosted, they're awesome to attend at these big anime conventions.
yeah, you get a greater variety of panels, and a lot of the time they're not so much better, but they're they have a more production value.
Yeah, the quality of it is, you know,
Yeah,
it's not some newbie trying something out for the first time like a smaller con. This is like people who've done panels before in the past who, you know, who did do this, you know, who knows what works. So
exactly.
yeah. So the final thing that people has on their minds: big cons or small cons?
If you have to choose one, I'd go with the big cons.
Yeah, if you had to choose one, to go with the big cons too. But I'm gonna play it safe and be different and do both.
I'd if you can, definitely do both. Absolutely.
Yeah, like you can go to the one big con you want to once a year, but the smaller cons, because of the time and the money and the effort that you have to put in, not as much, you can go to them easily. Like even it's for a day trip, you know.
Oh yeah.
It's it's still fun.
If you can drive to your local con, go to it. Just do it.
You're supporting you're supporting your local convention, you know.
Yeah.
Like
You're
they
supporting your local geek community.
yeah, like they put up with all this work and stuff, so you can have a good time. The least we can do is help support them out, pay for the badge,
Absolutely.
and then have a blast there. You know, talk about it with your friends because nothing works good. Nothing works as best as going there to have a good time and then telling all your friends about it because
Exactly.
they tell their friends about it, like, and then you got people wanting to go more and more of it. So for me, it is go to both. You know, the big cons. We already know what big cons I thought are. Small cons, they're like the special gems. You know.
Yeah, you really never know what you're gonna find at a small con. And that's part of the charm of it.
Yeah. It's like a random roll of the dice, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, but I think that's it for today. Thank you, Anubis, for coming in and giving
Thanks for
out your
having me.
opinions. Thank you. Also, don't forget to visit out his website at she'slostcontrol.net as well. So make sure you do that. A link will be provided on the bottom of the description box. Also, make sure to check out my own videos as well here on YouTube. But last, I must go. So this is the Geeky Panda here on the Geeky Panda blog, signing out. So remember, stay geeky, my friends.